Hello, this chapter is on research process. Okay, so research process in the writing a research, proposing a research, you should start with identifying the problem. Okay, identifying problem by reading and thinking about theories and concept, and then you search for the literature. Searching for literature means that you read articles based on the topic that you want to study. For example, you want to study on the sports dropout. Okay, dropout meaning that they don't want to be in the sports anymore. You have to read. Put that keywords in the Google, to put in internet searching searching engine, and then you find some article, academic article, then you read. So what's the problem? They stated there. Then you have to read and think. Okay, and then it leads to your hypothesis and research question. So operational definition meaning that the operational term that will be used back and forth in your writing. For example, sports dropout, okay, athletes, sports injury. That's the keywords is very important because the keywords will lead you on reading and searching the relevant literature. And then the study will be designed, methods will be selected, how to collect the data, who are the sample, who are the population, what's the instrument used, and then proceed to data collection, and then we'll be analyzing the data, and then when the results being obtained, it will relate back to the hypothesis and research question, and discussion will be following after. Okay, that's research process from the problem, stating the problem, reading the issue, up to the discussion, and thus the discussion ataupun the results relate back to the hypothesis in the first place. Okay, right. So this is the flowchart illustrating the previous statement that I mentioned before. Step by step or research process, we go one by one in detail. Okay, identifying problem and select a topic. Have you select a topic, ladies and gentlemen? Have you read what's the issue or the problem related to the topic that you selected? Because in a research, we always conduct research because we want to solve problem. So when we want to solve problem, we find the issue ataupun we state the problem. When there's no problem, there's no issue, then there is no need of research. Research exists once a problem exists. That's the thing in the researcher ataupun in the scientific way. As academician also, we have to find what's the issue nowadays because we want to solve it. And how to solve it in the systematical way, data collection, we have a very vigorous literature searching and reading and criticizing, and up to the discussion of the results later on. Okay, most of you are seasoned ataupun used to be athletes. Okay, you can interpret ataupun you can assume the problem based on the field of interest. If it is my students, last time I always ask what sports you play, what's the problem you frequently see ataupun that you predict. Oh, I think it's dealing with the skill related fitness. Lower body power is insufficient, so that injury might happen. Oh, that's a problem. Then you can search for it, read for it, so that it can support the issue that you are trying to rise up based on the field of interest. So you can make it a habit of asking yourself and what you see and hear. Okay, right. I hope you can get it what I'm trying to say. Search, right? Read about your field of interest. Of course, it's writing, research proposal is about reading, writing, criticizing. Then sometimes we don't understand on journal articles. Try to make yourself familiar with the how the academic writing, research writing. Okay, find out the topic interests you. Then you will get a clear idea what is already known and what is still unknown. The interesting of research is what is still known, what is still unknown. Then you can interpret. Oh, most of them are doing study on the A field of A. B jarang tidak ada. Oh, that is unknown. So that should interest you in your area. And then reading will also give you theoretical base for your study. I go back to sports dropout tadi lah. What we talk about dropout. Dropout meaning that the starts, maybe the sports career is very young age, so they quit at early age. Umur 18 tak nak because they start at age 4 years old. So what's the issue behind it? In sports coaching, you can explore what's the problem or issue in that kind of sport dropout. ataupun sports burnout. That is psychological, but it's still sports coaching. And then we talk about mental toughness. Most of athletes are not really tough in their real life, but in sports they are very tough. How do we deal? Adakah life mental toughness and sports mental toughness not correlated? That's the issue. Okay, we talk about athletes those tak adalah. I'm not sure athletes commit suicide atau apa ke. Maybe it's deal how they deal with the issue in their life or issue in the sports. So what is still unknown and still unknown. Okay, still a lot of studies to be explored. So make yourself more active in searching what's the issue nowadays. Okay, right. Step 3, think what interests you. Think pula, because your topic needs to motivate you and capture the attention of readers. If it is not interested at all, not something that not really gaining the attention of the readers, so the purpose of doing research is somewhat useless. Lack of interest. So what interests you should think. I'm sure you have something in your mind, so explore about it. Right, use the keyword wisely in the searching engine internet. Okay, second one, after you identify problem, review the literature. You have to take notes, see what is unexpected, contradict findings. Contradict findings is very interesting. Why I am saying this? Because some of the study that says the older the athletes, example, the older athletes, the wiser they are, the more tougher the mental. But another study says that the higher the level of the competition of the athletes, the mental toughness will be higher regardless of the age. See, that's contradict. One study supporting the age of the athletes. One study that's supporting level of competition. At a higher level, they are more tougher. Dah kontra macam tu, it sparks interest. We should embark another study to see either they are support these two ataupun something ada satu lagi results later on, we don't know. And then what's the study, the previous journal says, what's they suggest. The suggestion part is always put at the end ataupun at the discussion part of the journals or articles. What's the author suggests can be taken down as the next research. Sometimes they put there, more studies should be conducted in the different population, maybe different group, age groups, input another element, that's a suggestion can be used as one of the passport to conduct another study or similar way, similar but not the same. And then what's perspective or the previous project that can be applied in this situation. If it is have been conducted in other region in the world, can be conducted in Malaysia. Most of the studies are doing that, right? Okay. So how to do literature review? Literature review ni somewhat like how to start, how to search for 30 journals, how to search for 50 journals. Even nak dapatkan tu susah. What's the steps in literature review? Dah literature review lagi kan? First you have to search, of course, search engine is everywhere. Okay, right? Google, easy access, UATM, playing with the keywords. Then you should identify the best article to develop the model in your study. And it should be related field. If it is talking about exercise, health, sports, then you read about it. Don't go to other field of maybe business, maybe it's very general, social science, maybe. Okay, boleh lah, tapi more related, the more useful for you to read and to write and to think and to criticize. And then you read, of course, and you have to perform taxonomy. Search for it. What is taxonomy? Taxonomy is more systematic, to put in a table. What's the objective of the journals? And then you jumpa tu, you put in a proper table, so that is will lead you. Oh, this journal is about this. I put in this table. The findings is there, the problem is there, the discussion is there. Taxonomy. Something is very familiar among those who are reading ataupun writing research. Taxonomy. And synthesize meaning you hadam lah, you interpret what's the previous article saying so about, what's the findings, are they rejecting their own hypothesis, are they are they suggesting or recommend a new methods, you know, are they so what should be synthesized in literature review when you find the research, found the studies, found the articles that you look for. So what you have to synthesize it, you have to see why was the research carried out. Okay, the journals you found out, you have to see why the research is carried out. What were the main results? What's the results of the study? Do they achieve the objective, or do they portray some differences? They found some relationship there, or some effect, if it is effect study. So which method were used? Are they using survey? Are they using online form? Are they using interview? Instrumentation that use? Name of the questionnaire? You can always argue as a reader, were the methods appropriate? Some methods are appropriate to them, but not for your current proposal that you want to write. And could other methods be used? Because many methods can be used to achieve the same objective, right? This is where you find similar topics studied, but they use different instruments, they use different questionnaire to achieve the same objective or similar objective. And what are the main arguments used or conclusion reached by the author? Argue, if they argue like this is the result should be like this, the finding is based on that, you know, you have to read these arguments or this conclusion is at towards the end of the article itself, in the part of discussion. And they came out, they discuss a lot, they compare with other study, compare with the previous findings, and you as a reader, you can highlight what's the argument. You can take out, extract out what's the conclusion reached by the author, and what evidence is there to support. Most of the articles, they will always have previous latest current or similar study to support the current findings. The way they write it, they sometimes they keep track ataupun they support the similar facts being supported by previous study, and study dia buat pun support benda sama, and your study could be supporting the same, could be, ataupun you argue ataupun you contradict with them. That's where the research keep developing, revolving. Some study support, maybe in Malaysia is not support the same results because of different culture, population, different age group, maybe different sports, maybe different health, maybe different social economic, banyak benda. This is where you synthesize it. Synthesize is take a lot of effort to read and understand. Okay. And the third one, research process, devise a research framework. Framework is a set of broad ideas. Okay, it should be prepared as starting point, and then it's used as tool to assist researcher to make meaning of subsequent findings. Okay, as by Guba and Lincoln, it is agenda for negotiation. If you look at this sample, this is only sample framework, research framework. Physical activity, if I look at it in a one shot of looking at it, says that physical activity could be influenced by the mental health, the demography, and self-efficacy, how efficient you in yourself individually to do physical activity, how the perceive of body image, and environmental support. It is proposed by this particular study, these 5 factors could influence physical inactivity. You should be able to can start to draft out the framework, your research framework. I give an example again, the sport dropout. Sport dropout could be influenced by, okay, the age of the athletes, level of experience, okay, then the education level of the athletes, and then it could be influenced by scholarship received or not. Macam tu. Makes sense, correct? But you can always search, read literature that can support the assumption that you made, so that you can drive, you can conduct similar research seperti itulah. Perlu ada support lah, right? And then this is another example, says that academic performance influenced by health, health influenced by physical activity, and physical activity is interrelated with physical fitness, and fitness will lead to health, back and forth macam ni. This is somewhat like research framework. Okay, at the end of the day, you can write, you can illustrate your research based on framework, because framework is trying to illustrate what is your research variables, how the ideas is going on, and then the survey research or descriptive research is dealing with this. Okay, right. The fourth one is formulate research question, objective or hypothesis. Why I put a slash on it, it is the three of these are interrelated with each other. Research question should be right, and its objective or hypothesis. It is a clear, focused, concise, complex and agreeable question around which you focus your research. It is more very specific, very focused. What you want to search for, what you want to study. This is example of it. What is level of athlete satisfaction towards sports performance? So, by having more satisfied athletes, do they better in sports performance? That's the purpose of research. Nak tengok, bukan. And then the second one, what is the relationship between anxiety and performance of athletes? Adakah the higher anxiety, greater performance, or lower anxiety, greater performance, or lower anxiety, lower performance? That's the relationship. And then the third one, the difference of athletes' toughness and level of experience. Okay, the tougher the athletes in mental, the experience will be, ataupun the more experienced, they will be more tougher. Could be. That's the research question you write. Now write something like this, and then as a reader, we will know, oh, you want to study on these two variables. Right? So, what is your research question, ladies and gentlemen? So, this is practice 1. Okay? I want you to submit to me. Right? So, read Mouse 2017 on how to guide on your research question to write on. There's many ways how to write it. You can simply refer to this. Okay? By formulating your research question, yes, the RO and RQ are more similar. If you look at it, I leave the third one. The RO, what is the significant difference of athlete mental toughness and level of experience? So what is the RO for this? To measure the difference of athlete's mental toughness and level of experience. Because satu is asking, satu is the objective, right? So for the hypothesis, we have two types, alternate and null. So the elements in a hypothesis, we have to state the population you wish to compare or you wish to see the difference. State the DV, state the type or direction of the effect. If it is in our current course, we are using directional hypothesis. It is very direct. It sounds like this. Okay, there is a relationship. There is no relationship for the null. HO is null. State these two types, alternate. Satu mengatakan ada. Hypothesis ke ramalan awal, what you predict, what you want to state. Want to reject, want to accept, we put the statement, predict the statement. Okay, and another one, relationship between anxiety. There is a. The difference is there is no. Okay, in study, we always want to reject the null hypothesis, the HO. There is no significant relationship. If we reject it, we want to reject the null hypothesis. You wish to see there is a significant relationship. So that is where the null hypothesis plays around. Sometimes the researchers are using the null hypothesis. We want to see the differences. We want to see the relationship. So we put there is no, tidak ada. We want to, that's how the scientific way academic things. We use the null. Okay. And the fifth one, we go to research design. Research design is a practical way how the research was conducted. And it is a planned arrangement of condition for analysis and data collection. Design maksudnya, how was it looks like? How we conduct it? Who are the sample? Who are the population? What are the name of the instrument? How do we conduct it? Survey, Google Form. Berapa lama? In 6 months, 6 weeks, training program. That's the design. It's a planned, arranged manner. Okay, to achieve, to aim for the research objective, to solve research problem that you mentioned in the first stage. Okay, right? So the design will be should be really well planned, because it should be relevant to your problem, and the test that you choose should be unbiased and reliable, and will provide an accurate result later on, be capable of provide findings. Okay, so that it can be, the results can be generalized. Okay, for example, you are using sports athletes, student athletes. So the result later on can be used in student athletes in another country. If it is cannot, then they can compare with us the results. Element in research design, it should consist of type of study you are undertaking. Is it descriptive, experimental, or exploratory? Okay, so what sample size will you base on data on? So your sample size sampling, meaning that the participants, how many participants will be joining as respondents of your study if it is a survey research, and which research method will you use and why. So research design is dealing with very specific way, and then it's not just stating, but you have to elaborate who or why are you choosing that that design or that sample for your study. Okay, so this is a sample of it. So the left side will be the experimental, the right side will be the survey research. It consists of the point that I mentioned just now, but it's very simple. It can be elaborated more than that, but it is the rough idea on what is research design. Okay, so the sixth one, yes, of course, after you plan the research design of your study, then you conduct research or gathering data. Gathering data, it comes in two types of data. The first one is primary, the first hand. You collect, you gather the data, you do the survey to address a specific research objective in relation to your research objective. Okay, right. Secondary, it is available data. For example, will be samples information, the existing, and the number of medal, rank, win, lose in tournament. For example, you will recruit sample who are winner ataupun winner for the Sukma. Only those becoming the first in that sports, then they will become the respondents or participants. So that's secondary data. From that, I recruit them. So however, this is very important because to recruit or to have the participants, you have to justify. Then you provide the statistics. Sarawak is number one in Sukma in weightlifting. So that this research should be conducted among the weightlifters of Sarawak. Satu. That's secondary data, information obtained from the official. Okay, right? And after that, you analyze and interpret the data. Analyze will meaning that assigning meaning. What's the meaning of, if you intended to see the difference of anxiety in the level of competition? What's the meaning of that? If it is higher anxiety in the lower level of competition, what does it mean? Because from there we are interpreting the data, and then it should be able to provide answers to what you stated the problem just now, and what's the implication to the research, to the objective for the study. Interpret ini misalnya isi tu sirat lah, tu surat, oh differences ada, there's relationship, but what does it mean behind it? This ability to interpret the data needs a lot of reading and a lot of sit down and make sure it is important to be discussed. Okay, and then the last will be report findings. You compile everything, you report the findings, and in the three ways. First will be in the thesis that you did, and it can be a journal articles. Sometimes I conduct it among my supervisors, and then it can be on a oral presentation or conferences, but in your part we are going to report it in the research project next semester. Okay, right. So I think that's all for the research process up to the number 1 until number 8. There will be more detailed, more specific, and more explored information or discussion in the for the process of research from the problem statement. Okay, thank you.